Previously on Green Aqua.
We're going to take these out, do something with them, put them back. Take them out again, do something else with them, put them back again. Aquascaping master class. All the perks are here. Bruce, matching t-shirt, oolong tea with a koi fish on. Welcome to the beautiful world of aquascaping. What we're doing today is I'm going to continue the setup. I'm going to release Bruce. That's what I'm going to do today. There you go, baby. Climb. You can do it. Oh yeah. Well, the 15-minute video about Bruce climbing the tree. What we're gonna do, don't do that. Don't climb on the light. The light is, go there. There you go. Anyway, what we're gonna do today is we're gonna plant this 450 liter or 150 by 60 by 50 centimeter planted tank. Stay with us. Thank you, Tropiker, for sponsoring this video. We have received 150 pots of high quality, beautiful, lush green plants from their nursery, out of which we received 50 pots, but then we added, I think, 10 or 15 more pots of weeping moss. All of that moss is already tied with ADA Terra tape and ADA Terra line. I'm trying to do a setup here that is equally high quality above the water and below the water. So without further ado, we've got to do a lot. We're gonna start planting. All right, here we go. I forgot one thing though. The reverse osmosis hoses had to be replaced. Maki has actually pulled the hose from under the Terra tape, and then we replaced the old hose because the problem was there that we drilled holes all along, and then water was coming out at the bottom but was not watering the top. So what we did is we replaced the hose and we pinched it in 2 locations at the top so we can keep the moss wet. We don't have to water it, to spray it, whatever. Nothing further to say. Let's start working. Gary's gonna help me with just giving me certain rocks that I can use. I want to create an underwater diorama style with Frodo stones, which are going to go everywhere. We're going to have smaller details added with wood. That's the main idea, to have a focal point on the left side that is the main focal point, and one on the right side which is the secondary focal point of this cave. Terraces, caves, paths, and lots of plants. We will bring the soil up from this point all the way to the top. So we need to cover as much of this as possible with rocks. See how nicely this line will move and go back to here because of that rock, because it stands like this. And I'm going to make sure to leave the structure open so that people can see that. It will bring the line all the way up. Next thing, we will need to cover all the cracks with the same filter material that we use as the last step of the filtration. It's called the fine filter mesh. You cover all the cracks with this and it will prevent the soil from rolling forwards onto the sand. Here's where the reverse osmosis hose is being hidden behind this big branch. You're not going to see any of that. There's going to be sand in the foreground all the way in there, all the way to the back. Stop. We might want to plant some smaller foreground plants into that sand in order to add some detail. They're not going to spread as quickly as they would in clay-based soil, because clay-based soil provides more nutrients and the plant roots will feel better when they're in that clay-based soil. For my purposes, because I just want scattered plants in the sandy section of the foreground, for my purposes it's better to have that. And why am I doing this first and not the soil first? Because I want the cracks to be covered with sand and don't want the soil particles to roll forward. And also, if you bring the sprayer, we can spray off the sand from the rocks and everything. That will be probably easier. I'm gonna go with the ADA Power Sand Advanced L, which not only helps with the nutrition of the roots, but it also helps you with the health of the substrate, growing billions of bacteria. This will go in the back with 1 centimeter high levels. I'm gonna sprinkle soil additives because the Amazonia version 2 does not have enough nutrients, so these are like nutrition capsules. I'm going to just sprinkle that on top of the substrate in the back. I just realized that I need a terrace here in order to stop the soil from rolling forward. So I will need a big rock that I put there. If the soil will be high here, then you would be able to put some green plants in this. And if you have a highland here and have another highland here, this will be a kind of triangle composition if you only look at the soil. So this tank is visible from this side as well. So you need a nice and even foreground, and then you need an elevation towards the back. Victor's here, so Victor's gonna tell me. Victor, please come in, because you need to tell me whether you like this or not. Would you bring this terrace up all the way here? That's my first question. Or you would leave it like that?
Maybe do a second level. I really like this one, this level.
Yeah?
And build another one.
Yeah, you happy
Yeah.
now?
Yeah,
So it's
looks good
approved?
already.
It was your idea.
It's your trademark, so a lot of work went into that, and
Oh yeah, a lot of work went into that. So great to have Victor's advices all the time. He's such a clever aquascaper. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly what he wants with scapes. I love having an insight, his ideas. What I'm thinking about now is not to use any big plants like crypts and stuff. Maybe we could use 1 or 2, because those would, distort the scale. So I will try to use as many smaller plants as possible. So the big plants like Microzorum narrow and Bobitis will go to the back. And then let's go with the Bucephalandra red. Oh, cool. We've got some new plants. The Bucephalandra wavy green will go in here. Let's go with the Anubias now. Anubias is looking good in the shadow as well. It's very important to have nice details in the shadow. I'm just gonna drop it there. Maintenance nightmare, I know. Make sure you spray the plants from time to time in order to give them some moisture. They will die quickly if you don't do that. Crypts can go in the shade. It's not a problem. So you can actually plant them here. And then we have the smaller crypts. And these will be divided into smaller bunches, and they will be planted in the sand as I promised at the beginning. The planting went really smoothly until now. I added all the epiphyte plants. I planted the Brasiliensis. I put that here. I can achieve height with that, and it's fine for this terrace. And I was thinking about what to use in the background because I don't want the white background to be visible on the right side of the tank. I used the stem plant Ceratopteris calyctroides. That's gonna add the bushy look, the forest look to the background, and it will hide the background completely. This is a stem plant, so it will grow faster. Guys are not gonna be happy, but hey, life is tough. I started to plant the Marsilea crenata and Marsilea hirsuta. Euopsis mauritana, that is a little bit bigger than Brasiliensis, and I gotta find a place for it, so I'm gonna probably just put it here. The Monte Carlo will hang down from that root in patches. Victor has suggested the Maiaca fluviatilis. That's Victor helping me with the mosses, because he told me that he wants some mosses tied on some pebbles in the foreground to add some detail, because he didn't like the fact that we've got a very strong presence of Anubias and Bucephalandra in the foreground. Therefore, we will need to have something that will soften the whole look of the scape. And in the background, we will have this Maiaca, and we will also have the Hygrophila deformis, dwarf hairgrass, Acicularis mini or parvula or whatever you call it. You don't have to plant this densely when you're doing this at home. Why I'm planting densely, I keep telling you in almost every video. I do that because I want the final look to be present by the time that we release the video, which is usually a couple of weeks after the shooting. You can use like 1/5 of the number of the plants that I'm using usually here. The next plant is Sterogyne repens that will go in front of the Maiaca to have a transition between the rocks and the background plants. Usually the bottoms of the stems are not as beautiful. It's a wise idea to add the mid-ground plant in between the stems and the foreground. I have to admit that I'm not planning 100% these planting sessions before we start shooting the video. I kind of decide what kind of plants I want to use. It is usually better if you have the time to plan your scape fully. Victor is using the Green Aqua gel type super glue to glue some moss, some Ricardia moss onto the small pebbles. You can see that the reflection of this part is being shown in the right side glass of the tank, so it's really looking nicely, and it will add a new dimension to the tank. Okay, and let's do the rock placement now. I just found a very small branch and I cable tied the reverse osmosis hose onto that branch. I need something to cover the visible tap here. ADA Aqua Gravel. That will go on the sides. And with that, we're ready with the build. All that remains to be done is to fill it up with water, wait a couple of weeks, put the fish in, and you're gonna see the B-rolls that we shot right now. Thanks for staying here with us. Don't forget to subscribe if you didn't do so yet. Hit that like button to bring this video to a wider audience to promote aquascaping, and also become a channel member if you haven't done so and support the video production. Thanks for that. We'll see you next week. Bye.